Let's do it.
Yo, we are. I think we're live. Give it one more second. Yes, I believe we are live. Happy Wednesday to all. Hope everyone enjoyed their holidays. It's my first time live in like a week and a half. Things are going pretty well. This week's going pretty well. Monday was slightly green. Yesterday I went 1-1 in NBA, but I tailed a lot of college basketball from the Discord, so I made some money yesterday. How you guys been doing? Everything going well?
Yeah,
Going
man.
well.
Yeah.
Can't complain.
Good to
Same,
hear.
yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, the NBA specifically, I kind of got messed up by the in-season tournament, I feel like. And I had spent like a few weeks recovering essentially and trying to win back some stuff from being like, I don't know what to do with this. I don't, and then like coming back, I think the last couple of weeks have been better. So
I kind of am in the same boat. About 5 weeks into the NBA season, I was up 11 or 12 units already, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I'm currently sitting at +6, so I've lost. The last like 6 weeks or so, I'm actually down in NBA, even though I'm up on the season. So, but I agree. I think I'm starting to get my footing a little bit. Now that college football's over, a lot of my time frees up. So anyway, we got Bucks at Pacers. First, we got 12 games, so let's get into it. Let's run the poll. We got Bucks -3.5. Pacers +3.5, over, under. So let's see. The total's at 258, so I'll actually put the total on here. 258 is crazy, but it makes sense if you've watched these two teams play basketball. So I'll put mine up first. Oh, real quick, let me load up the picks are still set for. Where did you put those picks, AJ? Actually, I know where you put them. Never mind. They're in P Live Show. There we go. All right, so I'll put mine up first because this is not one of my favorite games at all. It is. Where's the Pacers graphic? Did you do a Pacers graphic? AJ did the graphics today, so I'm just now looking at them for the first time. I'm sure there's a Pacers graphic in here somewhere. But anyway, I would go Pacers or pass here while I look for it. And it sucks because this is a spot that I would normally bet the Bucks, right? On the back end of these doubleheader home and homes. Usually I like to bet the split. But there's just something about this Pacers team. They seem to have the Bucks number this year. I mean, they're 3-1 against Milwaukee this year. And I think the reasoning behind it is they kind of play the same type of game. And you know what? Indiana might be a little better at it. They offense. Defense is not a priority with these teams. We're just going to outscore you. And the Pacers are completely cool playing that kind of game. I mean, actually, you know what? Let me pull up my notes. I'll tell you right here. So they play the same type of basketball. Bucks are third in offensive efficiency this season, fourth in pace. So top 3 offense, top 4 in pace. Pacers are first in efficiency and second in pace. So the Bucks want to play this type of game. The Pacers are like, game, let's do it. So I think the Pacers are always going to be live against the Bucks, even though I think it's a spot to bet Milwaukee. Personally, I didn't bet this one yet, but I would take Pacers or pass. Modi?
Yeah, so this one, I'm taking Halliburton over 13.5 assists. It's an insane number. You never see 13.5 assists over under. I think I got it at +125, although it makes sense with Tyrese Halliburton. He's cleared that number in 4 of his last 6 games. The reason why I like this one tonight, I talked about this last time I was on the show. It's the flip-flop method. These two teams just played. He only had 11 assists. But if you look at that game, TJ McConnell had 9 on an over-under of 4.5, and he averages just under 5 assists per game. Like, that's clearly an outlier. And prior to the 11 assist game, he had 20 and he had 23, 43 in a 2-game span against the Bulls and the Knicks. The Bucks defense, I generally like to target point guard point props against them because they just cannot guard. With Damian Lillard at point guard, they just cannot guard the attack. The point guard. But Halliburton really hasn't been scoring as much as he was at the beginning of the year. Mostly pre and post in-season tournament, his scoring has taken a dramatic slip. Now he's gotten a little bit better recently, but for this one, I'm on Halliburton assists. I wanted to target Giannis points, but it's like 37.5. It's the highest over under since the James Harden days. So I set that one out. I'm just sticking with Halliburton assists.
All right. Josh?
yeah, that makes sense. I'm going under assists. That's my favorite bet. I don't really have much for the sides or total in this one. I would lean over, I guess, if they're playing in Indy rather than in Milwaukee. But mostly it's Dame under 7 assists. I did this on Monday, and I got worse juice than I got on this bet. I think it's probably down to about minus 125 now, but I hit it at minus 113, and dude had like 10 potential assists in the last one. He's averaging 9.5. Like he's up to about 10.2 now in the season, but for most of the season, he's been under 10 potential assists. So he's supposed to get 8 assists on 10 or 11. Like it's not how you really beat the Pacers. Like you beat the Pacers by just going right to the rim. Just they're not going to offer much resistance from anywhere really, but if you want to get out in transition and play out in the perimeter like Dame does, like sure, go ahead. They're not playing like press D or anything around the 3-point line. They're not really doing much once he gets into the lane. The last game he had 5, and a few of those were because it was a little bit more half court, and it was a little bit more okay, let's run this pick and roll with Giannis and Dame, and that offered up a few more assists. But for the majority of the game, it's just like Giannis, go ahead, right? And if Dame has it, then he can do his thing from 3. But for the most part, it's Giannis, go ahead. And I think we're going to see a lot of that. I wouldn't really have the balls to take unders for Giannis props as high as they are. Like his points, rebounds, and assists is like 56.5. I wouldn't even go near that because I think he's pretty pissed that they lost, and his numbers after a loss are pretty nice. So I'm going with Dame under assist though, because it's not going to come off assisted baskets basically.
I like that. Yeah, so like I said, I would go Pacers or pass. And actually, the poll seems to agree with me. 48% of our viewers said that they're down to take the 3.5 with Indiana. Just 30% said they would lay the 3.5 with Milwaukee. But like I said, not one of my favorite bets. In fact, I actually haven't bet that yet. It's not on my ticket. Maybe if someone in the Discord talks me into it before tip, but as of right now, it's probably Pacers or pass for me. All right, let's move on to the next game, which is Wizards at Cavs. Ooh, another one that I don't really like, but we'll get to the good ones eventually. Wizards plus 9.5. Cavs minus 9.5. Over 239.5. Under 239.5. All right, poll is running. Go ahead and cast your votes. I mean, this is, what did I write for this one? I think I put Wizards or pass. Oh, I put under 239 or pass. Didn't even write any notes for it. So I'm just going to pass the mic to them because I don't really have much interest in this one. Either you guys have something you want to share for this?
Yeah, I got a long shot. It's Donovan Mitchell, 10 plus assists. It's plus 310 at FanDuel, so unit size accordingly. I'm not saying to put a full unit on that. And for those of you that don't follow me, I love taking these long shot player props, trying to win like a third, and then you're going to make money. That's kind of the logic here. He's only done it once this year, so anybody that tells you a plus 310 play is a lock is an idiot. You shouldn't trust them. But against the Wizards defense, anything is possible. It's really what it comes down to. And no Darius Garland. I mean, he's been out for a while, so it's not like this is new. But his assist rate, Mitchell, with Garland on the floor, is at 21%. That's like Al Horford numbers. Without Garland, it goes up to 27.71%. That's still not Trae Young, Halliburton numbers, but it's obviously a lot better. And on the year, the Wizards have allowed 12 point guards to get to 10 assists. That includes guys like Dennis Schroeder on a 6.5 over-under. He got to 10. So for a dart throw, I figured might as well take the starting point guard for whoever plays the Wizards to get to 10 plus assists.
So plus 310, and you're telling us this is a lock.
Five unit whale lock is exactly what I'm saying.
Josh, anything for this one?
No, not quite. I thought everything seemed kind of bloated. My thought was like maybe this goes a bit under, and you see the Wizards play like a little bit less awful defense than they do at home, because at home they're historically bad at even trying on defense. But I don't have the balls to be like, let me get under Jared Allen when he could very well. It's just like, that was where I was looking. It's like, Jared Allen, 20.5 points? What are we doing? But without everybody else in the last like 4 or 5 games, his usage has skyrocketed to the point of being like, oh, you're like Domantas Sabonis level usage at this point. So
right.
I can't really take an under if it's just going to be the Donovan and Jarrett show.
And for most of the season, the Wizards have shown they have no presence on the interior. Yeah. So I get it.
What I like there was if you have the balls to go like with a little bit of an assist ladder for Jared Allen. I looked at the 3.5 assists. He's been getting 4 to 6 assists in the last like 4 games. I don't really know how. I haven't actually watched any of these crappy Cleveland games to go like, oh, he's getting good kick out opportunities. So I just kind of stayed away from him, man. But that's where I was leaning.
All right. Doesn't seem well. Actually, Modai gave us something there.
That's
but
nice. I like that. Yeah.
Spida, 10 plus assists at plus 310. 48% of our viewers said they would lay the 9.5 with Cleveland. 29% said they would take the 9.5 with the Wizards. Next game. OKC at Atlanta. All right. I'm going to go first in this one because the people are going to hate my pick. But let's run the poll. I'm sure you guys already know what it is.
Know where you're going.
You guys are going to hate it. And it comes it's bad timing too because my top NBA bet last night was Celtics -4. So the Thunder just got done bodying me about 16 hours ago, and here I am coming back for more. But yeah, I am on the Hawks. Let me go find the graphic. I know everyone's going to hate this one. And it's not just because the back-to-back. It's also a great spot for the Hawks, by the way. Damn, these graphics are out of order here, but I just checked. Prop Fever put them in the right order. I don't know why they're so jumbled on my screen here. So, God, where the hell is Hawks? How is Atlanta at the very end? How does that even make sense? There we go. Hawks. Got it. Hawks +1. I am on the Hawks. So, obviously, at first glance, you already know it's a bad spot for Oklahoma City. They just played last night in a tough game, a big game against the Celtics. It's their third game in 4 nights. Not that that is always a blind auto fade. In fact, there's some teams that have good records on the second leg of back-to-backs, Oklahoma City being one of them. They've been very good in these back-to-backs. So that's not really what this bet is about. It's a combination of that, and it's a great spot for Atlanta coming off 2 full days rest. And then you add in the fact that the way to beat this Hawks team, the way this Hawks team has struggled, you win the rebounding battle and you shoot a lot of threes. Those aren't exactly strengths of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, they're a good team and they're capable of doing that, but that's not how Oklahoma City wants to play. In fact, if you look at the numbers, you can make a strong case that Atlanta should be active on the offensive glass here. So I love the spot for the Hawks. This is an ugly bet. It feels gross, but I am rocking the Hawks hat for it. Rolling with Atlanta, I think they win. This graphic says +1. I took them on the money line. I got it even +100, I think, on Caesars. And I just bet this about an hour ago, so you probably still could get that. I'm on the Hawks. Josh, anything for this one?
Wow, the cojones. I love it. Yeah, I'm going to go with a bet that supports your bet, to be honest with you. I'm going to take a player prop here with Jalen Johnson. Big fan of Jalen Johnson, man. And he's what the Hawks have been needing. So I'll go over on the 24.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Like he's the dude that I know that they've been needing since we've all been like, why are the Hawks always just like on the cusp of at least getting into like a 4 or 5 seed spot, right? And it's been like a really athletic dude who can get out in transition, and nobody is really willing to get out in transition that often against this Oklahoma City team, but this dude is. And last night, Jaylen Brown, I think a lot of people had over points on him. It was a similar concept. It was the dude who gets out in transition the most in the league, basically, in Jaylen Brown, who has like the most transition points per game. Let's take him because the Celtics are one of the few teams that will actually go back at the Thunder and play at their pace and be like, yeah, we got wings to come at you with the same kind of play. And I do think that Jalen Johnson is that dude I know he is for this team. So the minutes restriction that he had, it looks like it's gone. In the last 2, he's played 36 minutes a game. He's had 20 points and 14 boards in that time. He's basically gotten there with the points and assists at 24 a game combined there. His usage is decent. Like nobody besides Trae Young and like to a degree, DeJounte gets a usage rate on this team, but 18% is good enough for like top 4 or 5. And if he's going to keep getting the minutes, then that's enough for me to get, around 15.5 over points on that for him. And then his just individual sort of like offensive rating, his rebound chances, he continues to get most of his usage is in transition. So his points are coming around the bucket, which is fine. Like you said, like he can attack. If you're talking about attacking the offensive glass, like besides Capella, this is the dude to do it, essentially. So that's why I'm just going to keep going with him as like the youth to handle this maybe tired Thunder's team. Probably not, honestly. They're so young, like they won't care, but it'll probably still be a very fun, fast-paced game.
Agreed. I actually know what your pick is in this because I saw the graphic you sent in. You have Trae Young threes, right?
Yeah. I like what both of you have. I really wanted to take the Hawks. I just didn't have the Stones at +1. I was hoping to get a little bit more points for that one, but I love it. Anytime you can say a bet feels gross, I'm going to like it. I'm on Trae Young over 3.5 made 3-pointers. It's -105 at ESPN Bet. As good as the Thunder defense is, the one area in which they struggle is allowing point guards to shoot from deep. So they allow literally the most made 3-pointers from opposing point guards in the entire NBA. And Trey had that horrible start to the year, basically across the board. A lot of it was from scoring, and that included shooting. He didn't make 4 or more in his first 7 games, and he went under in 10 of his first 11. Since then, he's made 4 in 12 of his last 19 games. Now, there was a stretch in December where he hit 4 more in 6 straight games. Since then, he's only hit it, he's missed it in 3 of 4. To me, that feels like a great opportunity to buy the dip, buy back in on Trey. You mentioned that the Thunder are young, so I'm not really putting a ton of emphasis on the back-to-back. It's more so just the matchup, and it's the fading recent results for Trae Young, who had been really good in a little bit of a mini shooting slump, breaking out of that in a good matchup tonight.
Look at us all on Hawks-type bets. This is an Atlanta Hawks program. I'm even wearing a Hawks hat. It's a Hawks program.
I'm a Jalen Johnson supporter in this one. You'll notice that Atlanta +1 is nowhere near my graphic.
Do not rope me in with Hawks supporters.
Don't you put that on.
Yeah, I haven't forgiven the Hawks for beating the Sixers in that ridiculous playoff series.
Wow,
I don't think I'll ever get over
Let
that.
it go, man.
Wow.
Let it go.
Man, bro, you gotta let stuff go. It's gonna eat you alive.
I bet the Sixers like 5 out of the 6 games too. I took a beating in that series.
Yeah, me
It was
too.
ridiculous.
Every game. I was like, not again.
Yep, and again it happened.
And again.
54% of our viewers said they would lay the 1 point with Oklahoma City as expected. 31% said they're taking the one with Atlanta. So there's a lot of people out there riding the Hawks with us. You'll love to see it. Next game. Toronto at Memphis. I think this line is 1 also. Raps +1. Grizzlies -1. Over 227. Under 227. All right. Polls running. Modai, you want to go first?
Yeah, so all mine are player props tonight, so I don't need to start with. I have another player prop. I like Emmanuel quickly over 2.5 made 3-pointers. It's +145 odds at DraftKings. Obviously, we don't have a ton of data on quickly because he's only played 1 game for the Raptors, but I think he's going to be really good for the Raptors. I think they need his shooting, and they just need a playmaker at the point guard position. I think he's going to have the ultimate green light and help a lot with their spacing. Now, in the first game, he didn't hit this. He only went 2 of 5 from deep, and I'm not making sweeping generalizations from 1 game. In general, I think he's going to shoot a lot for the Raptors. And tonight, he's got an awesome matchup against the Grizzlies. They are among the worst teams in the NBA at guarding the three-point line. They allow the 3rd most made three-pointers in the NBA. They allow the 3rd highest opponent three-point percent as well. And specifically to point guards, they allow the 2nd most made three-pointers to point guards. So I think having someone like Quickly is going to be very helpful for the Raptors. So I think he's going to shoot a lot. I think he hopefully gets us to 3+ made three-pointers.
Josh, anything for this one?
No, sir.
All right.
I'm too much. I'm just like you said, Modai. Like I don't have anything to bank it on. So
another ugly bet for me here. I'm on the Raps. And I'm mostly just playing the new energy with this team. Look, it's not that I think the Raptors are going to be better down the stretch after this trade. I think they'll probably be about the same. In fact, I think both teams are pretty much the same as they were before the trade. Maybe moving forward down the road could be a positive trade for the Raptors. But I think right now this team's playing with a new energy. I know they only won by 3 the other night, but I liked what I saw. I watched a lot of that game, and look, RJ Barrett, he's from Toronto, so you know the fan base is hyped for it. I think there's just a new energy with this team. And quickly, coming from a Knicks fan, he's the type of dude that like gets fans into it. He's very streaky, but when he shows up, he's hitting big threes, he's making floaters, and he's like all fired up. So RJ Barrett comes out, 19 points, 9 rebounds, 50% from the floor, quickly makes a couple big threes. I think there's a renewed energy with this team for right now. In a month, we can go back to blindly fading the Raptors on the road. But I think this little 2-week span, that there's some value in the Raptors. I think they're going to win this game. Also, Memphis kind of just went through this, right? Ja Morant came back, and they had this brand new energy. It was like, oh, shit, Grizzlies might be the 2 seed again this year. Kind of faded. That they haven't quite looked the same. Actually, I faded the Grizzlies last night, and the Spurs hit a meaningless 3-pointer with 10 seconds left to give me the cover. It was gorgeous.
that's amazing.
It was like,
That's
it's up.
amazing.
Like everyone stopped watching the game. I was like, yeah. But yeah,
incredible.
Grizzlies haven't looked quite the same. Look at this line. Doesn't this line tell the whole story? You know everyone's taking Memphis at this line. You think the sports books are trying to give out free money here? So, yeah, I'm on the sharp side here. I'm on Toronto. Maybe Ja Morant comes out and bites me in the ass. I don't think so.
I don't think so either, yeah.
So 2 Toronto props. Me and Modai seeing eye to eye, even though he didn't say if he would take Toronto. He's just taking the 3-point. 58%, as expected. I mean, this is going to be one of the more public plays on the board. 57% of our viewers said they would lay the one with Memphis. 26% said they would take the one with Toronto. Next game, New Orleans, Minnesota. All right. Let's get the poll going. This number's down to 6. It was at 6.5. Pelicans +6. T-Wolves -6. Over 222.5. Under 222.5. All right. Poll is running. Josh, anything for this one?
No, I didn't dig into this game too much because I'm on
it's a good game, man. This is a good game.
I know. I'm on a no Pelicans diet, and even them on the second level of a back-to-back. I promised myself that for the new year right now. Like, I'm still drinking alcohol in January, so I had to give up something, and it was betting on the New Orleans Pelicans.
All right, I'll go next here. I'm definitely on the Pellies here. Hell yeah. I am on an all Pelicans diet. No, I'm just kidding. I haven't been to the Pelicans, but I am betting them here. So I know fading Minnesota at home seems crazy, right? They're 14-1. Yeah, 14-1 at home this year, but actually they're just 3-6-1 against the spread in their last 10 at home. They're winning, but they're not covering. 3-6-1 in their last 10. Pelicans slowly flying under the radar, improving 8-3 in their last 11. They've won 4 straight on the road. They're playing much better defense on the interior recently, which is what I like. Earlier in the season, if we were talking about this a month ago, I would say, you can't trust the Pelicans defending the basket. But you know what? In the last 5 games, last 10 games, you look at their numbers, they're up at 12th, 14th. So they're doing a better job defending the rim. Pelicans, as we know, with Ingram and McCollum, they're pretty efficient shooting the mid-range shot. It's really the only spot on this Minnesota defense where you could say they're somewhat vulnerable because their defense is so good. Look, I don't necessarily love the matchup for New Orleans. I know they're on a back-to-back, but their main pieces didn't really play much last night. Zion played like 25 minutes, I think, and I think he led the team as far as the main pieces go. So the back-to-back, not a huge factor, even though there's a long flight in there. They flew from New Orleans up to Minnesota. I think it was New Orleans to Minnesota, I think. There's a long flight, and there's a back-to-back. There's a lot of risk involved here. I'm not going to bang the door down to get you to tail me on this one. This is what I'm playing. I understand if you're on Minnesota here. Modai?
Yeah, so I'm on Karl Anthony Towns under 20.5 points, +105 at DraftKings. As good as the Timberwolves have been, obviously a lot of that has to do with their defense, and Karl Anthony Towns really hasn't done much as a scorer. With Rudy Gobert on the floor, he's just basically a stretch 4, and that's a lot of the advantages you have from him on offense kind of get negated by having Karl Anthony Towns. He's gone over this number in 18 of 31 games, but 4 times he scored exactly 21. So when he's going over, it's not like he's clearing it consistently or easily. He also hasn't been scoring that much recently. He's gone under in 3 of 4 games. He's gone under in 5 of 10. But again, in 2 of the games, he went over. In the last 10, he had exactly 21. Last game, he had a good game, 29 against the Knicks. Outside of a 4-game stretch where he was scoring a lot, he hasn't really been able to consistently follow up good performances with another good performance. And he has gone over in 2 of 3 games against the Pelicans. But in general, this is a pretty difficult matchup. They give up the fewest points per game specifically to power forwards. 7 of the last 8 power forwards against them have gone under. They're over-under. Granted, Karl Anthony Towns is a little bit different than your average power forward, but they do guard the position well. So we're fading Cat tonight. So another play that kind of goes in line with yours.
Yeah, let's go. Pelly's up.
I was looking at that one, by the way. I was looking at a bit of a fade of Cat because of the fact that New Orleans has been better down low. And like you said, the defensive rating is so high, or so good rather, for them, so low for when those two are on the floor right now, which is, I mean, not surprising necessarily, but I guess maybe it's surprising how hard Cat's trying. Either way, that's why they're getting so many minutes together. So that would help your bet there for sure. Like I said, I shied away from anything Pellies.
He's on a no Pelicans diet. He said it himself.
Strictly.
55% of our viewers said they would lay the 6 with Minnesota. 31% said they would take the 6 with New Orleans. So another one where community's pretty consensus on the favorite. Next game. Nets at Rockets. And look, I'll go first in this one because I have exactly one sentence to say about this game. Let me just get the poll up. So we got Nets. I think this is at 4.5 now. The graphic says 5, but I think it's down to 4.5. So Sharps are definitely out there buying up those Nets tickets. I don't know.
You're going to steal my analysis with your one sentence. I know it.
Here it is. So let's see if we're on the same thing here. I am on the Rockets for one sentence, and the sentence is, I think the Nets may have to be placed on auto fade. They are. Ready for this? The Brooklyn Nets are 2-9 in their last 11 games. Their 2 wins, both against the Pistons. So the Nets are now 0-9. They've lost 9 consecutive games against teams not named the Pistons.
And they lost to the Wizards.
Yeah,
they lose to the Wizards.
One of those losses was to the Wizards.
Yeah.
This team is in a free fall right now. I'm not even that big on Houston. I think this Houston team's fallen off a little bit too. But they've played well. They were playing much better defense at home the first month and a half of the season than they are now. But still, I could trust the defense a little bit. I don't trust anything about this Brooklyn Nets team. Prop Beaver was just reading off the box score numbers from the Nets game last night. It was like Cam Thomas 0 of 11, Royce O'Neal 0 of 6, Dinwiddie 0 of 7. It was like, it's ugly. The Nets might have to be placed on auto fade for the time being. And like I said, Rockets at home, they've been better there. Not crazy. This is one of my smaller bets, but I did bet this one. Did I take your analysis?
You did, yeah. I was just going to say, I was just going to close my eyes and just, hit whoever the opponent is for the Nets, especially on a back-to-back, especially on the road, for sure on the road. The thing that scares me is it's gone from an opening of, I believe, 6.5 to now 4.5.
Definitely.
So
there's people out there buying in on the Nets. There's people out there buying in on the Nets. I don't know. They're
running back the Hornets win from last night over the Kings, and then it's like, oh, that was unexpected. So it's going to apply here, but I mean, I agree. But my bet here is I'm taking Houston. I made a little parlay there as well, same game where I took Şengün under 23.5 points, which now I kind of look like an idiot because it's at 24.5. So I guess I have to hit it again.
You can say the same thing about our Rockets minus 4.5.
I know. But I did parlay this with the money line with 0.3 units. Got a little bit nice juice there, and then I have a full unit on him to go under 23.5. And I still think that, so there's a couple of bets here. I know I throw a couple at you for this game, right? This is the first one I'll talk about, and I'll kind of counteract what I'm saying here with my other bet. But the bet here is based on the fact that Nick Claxton is a good defender, whether we want to admit it or not, because we think of Brooklyn as just sort of like a turnstile defense. But when you get into the paint, when you get down low, he and Daron Sharp have been good down low. Say what you want. They've been a top 5 or 6 team in the last basically 20 games, most of the season, but he missed a few games because he missed a few weeks. Nick Claxton did at the beginning of the season, and they were just hemorrhaging points down low. And then he came back, and Daron Sharp got healthy, and they're a lot better down low inside of 5 to 10 feet, 5 to 9 feet specifically. They're back inside of limiting field goals to the 6th fewest. The field goal percentage is the 6th lowest for their opponents. So they are playing much better there. And I think Şengün's going to have a little bit more difficulty doing that. And even when he tries to drive, which is a lot of the ways that he's able to score points at times, is not really backing you all the way down unless he does have the size advantage, which is not that often. It's oftentimes that he's way more versatile than the center that he's guarding. So he's actually got a lot more percentage of his points off of drives than you might think for a center, because he is standing out there either at the top of the foul line or even further out right on the 3-point line to facilitate this offense, because he's the best point guard and player on it. But as far as the points go, he's going to have a harder time against a great defender like Nick Claxton coming all the way down from the 3-point line, scoring from there. They've started to limit centers a lot better in their last 15 games, the Nets, once again, because they are healthier down low. So I think this, really at the end of the day, man, this is a bit inflated because he's had a bunch of games in a row against bad defenders, has Şengün, where he's gone over. And so this prop has risen from 20.5, 19.5, where it was really most of the time, all the way up to 23, now 24.5, because also Tari Eason was ruled out. That's why I realized, by the way, looked into why that went up to 24.5.
I forgot to mention
Tari Eason was officially out. But Jabari Smith's back. So that's a big part of it. Jabari Smith was out while he was playing bad centers. Now it's the opposite. So I'm gonna take just start to zag on it.
Modi, are you in agreement with anything?
I like that Şengün one. The way you beat the Nets is from the perimeter. They give up a ton of 3-pointers. My play is I'm actually going to no touch that one because I checked the odds, got nuked all the way down to plus 160. So that I wouldn't touch it at that number. Plus 250 was awesome. Plus 160 is less awesome. So it's going to end up being a no play for me.
Okay.
I do like points for Jalen though. So like I hear that for sure.
Yeah, I know.
Over 19.5.
Prop Beaver, I saw he was on 19.5. Mm-hmm. I took the 3-pointers, but yeah, I haven't actually touched the point one yet.
Cool. I did have one more for this too, though.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Despite the fact that I said under for their best player in points, I do think they still get 114.5. I think this ends up being a bit more up and down of a game. The Rockets, you were saying they've been a little bit worse on defense at home as opposed to like the best defensive team at home next to the T-Wolves. Well, that's because they've actually become really good at offense at home over their
last the pace,
like,
maybe.
It's the pace. They've gone up to 102 pace in their last 7 home games. Plus, they've gone up in their offensive rating as well, where it was at around like 112. It's now up at about 126. 122. The Nets have been giving up about 123 a game on the road. On back-to-backs, they've been giving up 123. On the road, they've been giving up 120 in general. So they've got the Rockets have gone over 114.5 in 6 of their last 7 home games. That's really when the sort of speeded up type of play started for them. So I think 114.5 is a good number and playable. Really, like 115.5 if that's what it's at for you on certain books with good juice.
So, all right, we're kind of on the same page there. We all were leaning Rockets. Certainly none of us are diving into the pool to bet the Brooklyn Nets right now. And our community is all in on the Rockets. 70% of you said you would lay the 4.5 with Houston. Just 18% said that you would take the 4.5 with Brooklyn. Now we get to back-to-back games that are passes for me. I have a few more bets I like, but not the next two. Hopefully, maybe you guys have something for them. But let's run the poll. It's Bulls +9, Knicks -9. I really wanted to try to get to the Bulls because over the last, we're talking about the last couple of years now, but fading the Knicks in Madison Square Garden is usually profitable. It's not really been the case this year, but last year you could have just blindly bet the Knicks on the road and blindly faded them at home and turned a nice profit for yourself. So when I looked at the game, that's where I wanted to be, was Chicago getting this big number. But for the life of me, I couldn't get there. I was searching, and I couldn't get there. So this is a pass for me. Modai, you have anything for this one?
Yeah, I do have an official play, and I was wondering, is DeMar, he's playing, right? Because I wanted to look at his point total, but the books it wasn't offered on any single sports book. So I don't know what the deal is there.
Let me look.
Because DeMar's terrible on back-to-backs in 1 day's rest. So I wanted to fade him.
DeRozan in, Patrick Williams questionable. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, maybe something's changed since I last looked, if people want to check that. But anyways, the official play that I'm on is Brunson under 25.5 points. Brunson's been awesome this year, so this isn't me saying that I don't like Brunson or I don't think he's going to have a good game. But he isn't scoring. He isn't clearing this a ton. He's gone over this number in 12 of 33 games and only 5 of his last 15. He's done it in 3 of his last 6, but if you look at the matchups, it's Bucks twice, who, as I mentioned, can't guard the point guard, and Pacers, who, the way you beat the Pacers is in the paint, but their defense is terrible regardless. The Bulls' defense, they're not a good defense, but they play so slow that a lot of their raw stats given up look impressive. They allow the 9th fewest points per game in the NBA. They're also good against point guards, allowing the 3rd fewest to point guards over the past month. Again, that's all due to pace. They play at the slowest pace in the entire NBA, but 2 of 9 point guards have gone over 2 of their last 9, and one of them was Patrick Beverley, who scored 4 points on an over under 3.5. So not exactly blowing up the stat sheet. So I like the under for Jalen Brunson here, but if odds are out for DeRozan and the number is reasonable, I love his under as well.
Josh, anything?
Yeah. We're on the same page here. I didn't give this yet, but I do think I'm going to play it here in a minute, and that is the actual over for Jalen Brunson's assists in this one. Yeah, so we're of a similar mind here, and I just did this with Tyrese Maxey, where it was and it was wonderful because they played the Rockets and then they played the Bulls, and the Rockets are a team that are going to give you points from the point guard position because they're going to hound you, they're going to foul you, they're not going to give up assists. They give up like the fewest assists and like a high number of points to point guards. So I took Maxey like over points in that game and under assists. Then he played the Bulls the next night. And not only do the Bulls play slowly, they've got Alex Caruso, who's been like as good of a point guard defender, if not the best. I mean, they limit on the season overall. You mentioned the last month they're in the top 3, and on the season it's still the fewest points per game to the other team's point guard. So that's when Caruso's in, and that is the reason, right? So we've already seen it with OG. I've been on this, which is like, okay, OG is going to be a huge beneficiary of the fact that Brunson's going to drive and kick, and now he doesn't have to look at the corner and see RJ Barrett and go, oh God, do I just throw this ball up in the air in traffic? It's just as likely to go in as a wide open 3 for RJ Barrett. But now he's got a really good spot up shooter, like one of the primo, if not the best glorified 3-and-D guy, because he's on the cusp of being a little better than that in OG. But that's basically what he is. So you saw Brunson just have a ton of assists recently. His potential assists will continue to go up now that he feels comfortable passing that ball out instead of having to force it up against bigger defenders. So I do think under points is a good bet moving forward for JB when it's too big, and over assists is also a good bet.
All right, so I just put a little thing here. Brunson over assists. That's what he was saying there. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a bet for you guys in this one. I would love to tell you Bulls +9. Couldn't do it. Our community heavy on the Knicks, though. 64% of our viewers said they would lay the 9 points with New York. Just 28% said they would take the 9 with Chicago. Next, Portland, and let's get it going. Is this one 11.5? Yeah. Blazers plus 11.5. Mavs minus 11.5. Over 238, under 238. All right. So, like I said, I passed 2 in a row. So I passed the last one. I passed this one too. I'm down to bet this Portland team. I bet them several times, but it's got to be a team that's weak on the perimeter, that makes mistakes, like Golden State. I think I was talking about this on this show. A team that's turnover prone. And the Mavs have been turning the ball over more recently. They're still first in turnover rate on offense, but actually in the last 5 games, they're like 12th. In the last 10 games, they're like 8th. So maybe they've been a little less protective of the basketball, but still, if I'm taking Portland, especially on the road, it needs to be a team where I could trust them to force some turnovers. And Dallas is just too good on the perimeter. Luka's too good out there. I don't think they're going to win this battle. I would actually, as much as I like this Portland team, they also have some injury question marks, by the way. Let me pull that up.
A lot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Their whole team's out. Yeah.
I can read that for you. DeAndre Ayton's out. Tumani Kamara's questionable. Duop Reith is questionable. Anthony Simons is questionable. And Robert Williams is still out.
Yeah, so I can't get there in Portland. Actually, I would lean towards the favorite here. I would say Dallas or pass for me with the 11.5. Either you guys have a play for this one?
Yeah, I got one. I would, because I wanted to give out one pick for each game, this would probably be a pass, but to give out something, I do like the Derek Lively under 20.5 points, rebounds, assists. This one's moved against me. Like I locked it in at -115. It's now offered at +100. So not good line movement for me there. This is mostly, I'm playing this because both Luka and Kyrie are in, and he's gone under this number in 12 of 15 games that they've played together. And he's only gone over in 1 of his last 10, and he hit exactly 21 in that game. And the logic makes sense, right? With both of them in the lineup, he's not doing nearly as much. Maybe he'll get some assists, stuff like that, but he's not nearly as useful. And I do like him. He's a good player, and he's a very good rookie. But, yeah, I took his under.
All right, Lively's under. He said it's a lean, though, for those who didn't catch that. He said this is what he would do if he was going in.
Yeah.
Josh, anything?
Yeah. No, I would lean with the favorite here as well. Honestly, like you were saying, I mean, dude, if Luka's just gonna be owning these dudes. It's going to be like watching him play, if he was playing like a varsity dude playing JV, basically. Just sort of like controlling the game, seeing it as slowly as he wants to see it, getting what he wants when he wants it, against these guards, man, which are just, they're not going to be good enough. So I would lean, it was 10.5. I would still take like 11.5, to be honest, but
right.
There's plenty on the slate. I don't need to mess with that.
And there's not many matchups in the NBA where Dallas might have the advantage down low, but it's crazy as it sounds. They actually might, because the Blazers just really, really struggle down there. So our poll, a lot of people out there taking Portland. Just 44% said you would lay the 11.5 with Dallas. 37% said you would take it with Portland. So actually, a lot of people in the comments taking the Blazers here. I mean, it is a big number.
Blazers. Feisty Blazers.
And weren't the Mavericks just terrible as a home favorite last year? I'm pretty sure they were just awful as a home favorite.
Last year, they've got a couple blowouts at home that they've handed out. But the other thing is like the revenge narrative here. If you're not revenge, just like angry Luka, they just lost to the Jazz.
Yeah. Yo, Jazz are playing good basketball though.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Jazz,
yeah, they are. That's fair. But they still got beat by him in a way that was like, I thought you guys were trying to be contenders. You know, they're slipping. So
yeah,
he might be kind of pissed. He was 6 for 20. That would be the other reason he'd be pissed.
Yeah, that's ugly. Speaking of the Jazz, let's put my bet up, which is Jazz minus 8.5. Kind of get you kill two birds with one stone here. Let me go find that graphic. But yeah, I'm on Jazz minus 8.5. It's I think I just put a half unit on the ticket, so like it would be my smallest bet of the night in that capacity. But I feel like I get to do two things here. One, I get to fade the Pistons. But you got to keep in mind, everyone's fading the Pistons right now, and when it's something so obvious that's being talked about as much as the Pistons are, whenever you fade the Pistons, you're going to have a fade the Pistons tax. You got to keep that in mind. But personally, I think that tax is negated by the fact that I think this Utah Jazz team is really undervalued. I don't think people realize how good this team's playing right now. I think they're 5-1. Let me pull it up. So this Jazz team, I mean, not a lot of people follow the Utah Jazz, so this is a team that can fly under the radar in a smaller market, but they were really injured for most of this season. Since they've been healthy, I mean, this team's playing at a different level. They're 5-1 in their last 6. And not to mention they've been great at home. What are the Jazz, like 10-4 at home? Let me pull it up. They've been great at home. 10-5 at home on the year. And like I said, they spent most of the year injured. So I think the fading the Pistons tax is negated by the fact that this Jazz team is still being priced like a team that was injured. They're not. They're fully healthy, and they're playing great. Like Josh was just saying, they beat up on the Mavs. So, yeah, I think the Jazz win in blowout fashion. Anyone have the stones to take the Pistons in here?
I don't have a play on the Pistons. I have a play on Cade Cunningham, 10-plus assists. The Wizards are the only team that gives up more assists to point guards than the Jazz. 11 of the last 13 against the Jazz have gone over their assist prop. 4 have reached double digits. That includes Cade, who got to 10 against them. As bad as the Pistons are, and they've won, one of their last 30 games, Cade has been pretty good, and his assists have ticked up a little bit with Bojan Bogdanovic back in the lineup. They still stink, but at least their lineup makes a little bit more sense. Like they were starting 0 shooters in the lineup. Like their best shooter was Isaiah Stewart. It was the most fireable offense from a coaching perspective I've ever seen from Monty Williams. No idea what he was doing. At least their team, it makes a little bit more functional sense with Bojan back. They're probably going to end up moving him, but regardless, he's hit this in 5 games that Bojan has been back and only 3 with him out of the lineup. So Cade 10+ assists. It's not quite as juicy as you would like, but for plus 185, I still thought it was good value.
Prop Beaver actually went on a rant about Isaiah Stewart getting minutes at the 4. He went on like a hard rant about it. He feels the same way.
It's like you're begging to get fired. Like he got the guaranteed contract, so he says, if I get fired, they will pay me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's it. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Yeah. Like, I mean, Monty's never been good. I think he flew under the radar as someone who was like, I'll just say it. He was like a Chris Paul trade away from just not having a job. And then Chris Paul ends up on the Suns and they make a run at the finals. That was the correlation. It wasn't anything Monty, did differently. Not anyway, like just, it's going to happen. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was the same Phil Jackson stuff. Like Phil Jackson was like, and Monty Williams said the same thing. He's like, I don't want this job. And they were like, what if we give you historic money? And he's like, well, now he's got his wife in his ear, right? Like so it's not his decision anymore. It's like his family's decision.
Right.
Like he's going to get that kind of money. And so like, now, like if he's going to get paid anyway, like does he care? So I agree with the rotations. I'm going to take a bet in this game though. That is Simone Fontecchio, who in addition to having like one of the most fun names to say, is a really good basketball player. I remember betting on him in summer league when I was there. Cause I was like, yo, this dude's like a legitimate player overseas. He's playing against these young bucks and he was 15 a game every night. But in this one, I'm going points and rebounds. And I also like the rebounds, but they're both some decent money. Rebounds itself is plus money. But when you add the points in there, it's still minus 115. Is how much I got that at. So he's been getting the minutes, and they switched up the lineup, and that's always going to be something that I look for is like why is there a difference in minutes? And Walker Kessler moves to the bench, and he's still getting decent minutes, but Simone is in there for a good amount of time now. In the games that he started, which he's going to be starting in this game once again, he's looking at really good minutes. He's looking at 13 points a game, about 4 boards as well. So he climbs over this pretty consistently as a starter, specifically about 67% of the time in the games that he started. So he's coming off a really awesome game in this last one as well, where he just had 24 against Dallas in that game that we were just talking about. And I think he keeps it going in a similar spot here against the Pistons, who, Jalen Duren is good as sort of a coming off of his guy and then blocking the other guy's player, but he's not really a great one-on-one defender. He's mostly just a rebounder, similar to like kind of Andre Drummondy in that sense. So I think Simone will be able to get the power forward position is pretty good against this team because of the fact that you have guys like Beef Stew still getting so many minutes for Detroit, which is wild because Oscar Thompson's minutes are just fluctuating and weird as hell. But beyond that, not to get back into the Monty bashing, we'll just say Simone is a pretty good bet tonight.
I like it. And guys, please disregard Eric Shipley in the comments. E-Ship. He's been going on this thing for 3 weeks now, betting the Pistons money line every time. He claims things are going to turn around. Honestly, I wish the Pistons didn't win that game because it's almost like it's taken him to a new level. He's like, he's in the Discord offering people advice. Like, listen, man, you got to play the Pistons. Like, he's just lost it. It's like the Pistons win enabled him, where he's like. Yeah. I put a sock in that immediately.
Totally.
All right. Anyway, our poll's leaning pretty heavily towards the Jazz here. Looks like 56% of our viewers are laying the 8.5 with Utah, 29% taking the points with the Pistons. So there are people out there betting the Pistons, and I get that 8.5 is a big number, but I think the value is in the fact that I don't think people realize how well Utah's playing right now. So
at home, dude, they're a different team. They're 2 teams at home. They're, like you said, 10-5. So,
all right. Hey, Eric simply commented hater. Last time I called him out on betting the Pistons, he said coward. Like, I'm a coward because I don't like donating my money to the Pistons money line every night. Coward.
They're due. They're due.
Oh, they're so due. All right, next game. This should be a cool one, by the way. And I know Durant's not playing, which makes it a little bit not as cool. It takes a bit away from it a little. But I want to start off with a stat, and this comes from Prop Beaver. And I wanted to see if you guys have heard this. 1 second. Oh, you know what? Might as well just put my whoops, that's wrong. Might as well just put my my bet up first and get that started. So I'm on the Clips here. Let me go find it. Take a second. And the stat I wanted to read you guys is, check this out. So the 5 players of James Harden, Norman Powell, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Zubats, right? Those 5 guys, when they are on the floor this season together, they have an average point differential of plus 55 points per 100 possessions. It's the best 5-man rotation in basketball. Defensively, they're allowing just 90 points per 100% possessions. For reference, Minnesota leads the NBA in defensive efficiency. They're allowing 108.8 points per 100 possessions, 108.8. Those 5 guys for the Clippers are allowing just 90. So those 5 are playing just at an insane level right now. This Pistons team is awesome. They're 12-2. Where the hell's the graphic, man? I
think you cycled through it.
I did. Damn it! I was all hyped up about the Clippers.
You were ripping. I didn't want to interrupt you, but
okay. I was just the Clippers got me hyped.
You're on fire, baby.
So there it is.
There it is.
Clippers up, baby. Clippers up. So I'm on the Clips, and like I said, that those 5-man rotations like breaking records with how efficient they've been together. But I don't think people realize how good the Clippers are right now, man. They are 12-2. 12-2 in their last 14 games. Their only losses, Boston and Oklahoma City. Now, you could be like, oh, well, the 2 good teams. Kawhi Leonard didn't play in those 2 games.
Yep,
so
exactly. The
Clippers have won 11 straight with Kawhi in the lineup. You could make a strong case that this is the best team in the NBA right now. And the odds makers are pretty much making a statement with this. They're like, hey, Suns have won 4 in a row. We're still favoring the Clippers by 4 points in their building. So it's clear how they feel. Look, I know Durant being out obviously influences that, but still 4-point dogs at home with a Suns team that's got a lot of hype and it's won 4 straight. That's a statement right there, and I agree with the statement. I'm on the Clippers here. And also, if you look at the Suns, they won 4 in a row. 3 home games against the Hornets, the Magic, and the Blazers. Sorry if I'm not going to throw them a parade for that. Clippers -4. I like the Clippers to continue their onslaught. They're fully healthy. Let's go. Either you guys have Modi, we got something?
Yeah, I'm with you on the Clippers. Basically, since they moved Russell Westbrook to the bench, that happened a long time ago, but they've been on fire since then. With that is my play, James Harden, 10+ assists. It's funny looking at his stats because people are going to say he's only gotten 10 and 8 of 27 games. This is a dumb play. But he went under in his first 6. He went under in 12 of his first 14, and he went under in 15 of 18. Since then, he's played 9 games, and he's gotten 10 assists 5 times. He's also gotten it in 4 of the last 5 games that Kawhi has played, as you guys mentioned, who is back tonight. The Suns do have a decent defense. That's a lot of this just the Frank Vogel effect. He can coach up a defense, but Harden just got to 10 against the Heat, who have a better defense. And with Russell Westbrook off the court, Harden has an assist rate of 35.27%. This isn't surprising, but by far the highest on the Clippers. And that would put him just below guys like Trae Young, Halliburton, and Jokic. So pretty good company. And he led the league in assists last year. He's always been a good passer. So yeah, that's the play here. James Harden, 10+ assists. But I'm with you on the Clippers as well. I like the Clippers to cover.
Respect the Clips. Respect the Clips. Josh, do you respect the Clips?
Clippers up, baby. Yeah, I don't I do. I really do. And I also don't have respect for the Suns without their big 3, to be honest with you. So it is wild that people are like, look at how good the Suns offense is. It's awesome that with Bradley Beal, they have a 130 offensive rating with those 3 on the floor. It's awesome. That's really very good. I don't know how long it's going to last with the injuries. Plus, who did they play, right? Like Orlando's obviously a good defensive team. Everybody
Charlotte
else is poo-poo. So, I'm with you on that. I think Booker under 7.5 assists is a good bet. If you want to add the rebounds, under 12.5 rebounds and assists combined, that's a good bet as well. And that's plus money. I actually played them both. And I actually do like the Harden assist too, by the way, Marty. Just wanted to say that too, because the idea of him getting 8.5 is I think the best you can get is like -128 for him to get 9 essentially. So yeah, you just climbed up a really great juice with the 10+. But I agree with that. There's assists to be had for him, and I do think for Devin Booker, just to finish that bet, like this, it's terrifying because in a lot of the games without Kevin Durant, he's had some potential assists for sure. He had a game of 21 potential assists. He had 18. He's had a 14er in there, and he's had like 12 in another one. So the potential assists are there, but the dudes that he's passing to are bad. So the best player on his team now, I mean, obviously Bradley Beal opened that up for him. And with KD out there, he averages 8 assists. With KD not out there, slightly less than 7. And that dates back to when KD was here, in Phoenix last March after the trade. And then he went out for a bunch of games after they rattled off a bunch of wins. When he was out in those games as well, we're talking about like 9 of the last 10 games without KD. Booker's gone under this number for assists. Plus, you look at the Clips; they have been limiting point guard assists to the 7th fewest. They have been also limiting a ton of rebounds as well. They're basically like the 2nd, 3rd, however you want to look at it, rebounding team in the league since the trade, for sure. And with Kawhi out there, especially. So I like to add the rebounds, but the assists are good too. The rebounds are better money. So like I said, I took both, and both are live for me.
I like it. This is a Clippers program. We are a Clippers program, and communities all. I even see the Toast is in the comments saying Clips up. Good to hear Toast is with it as well.
Is that an official thing? Clips up?
Clip? I don't know. I thought I made it up.
With it?
I thought I just made it up.
I heard it somewhere.
All right.
Yeah, Toast. What was the final score of St. John's game last night? My power went out. I missed it. Nah, I'm trolling him because I faded one of his picks. He took Butler. I took the Johnnies. 80% of our community is laying the floor with the Clips. And disclaimer, if you're betting the Clippers with us, it's going to be one of the more public bets on the board. Just so you know. I personally don't care. I'm betting the Clips, but just know that going in, if the Suns cover the 4 and win, sportsbooks are taking a bath. I feel like I should mention that disclaimer. So yeah, 80% of you said you're laying the 4 with the Clips.
Crazy thought, because you were like, this might be the best team in the NBA, and that's what drove it into my mind.
I think they are right now.
I might look at what a Kawhi Leonard MVP ticket looks like.
Or just do Finals MVP because that's when he'll show up.
Finals MVP,
That's
right.
true. I was gonna say, is Kawhi gonna play 60? I know he hasn't missed a ton of games. Was he gonna get
he's
the
played
65?
a lot of games. Right.
Yeah, it's just the recent one where he's missed what, 4
Right.
whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I guess if Joel Embiid wasn't in the NBA and a few other guys, but
he also might not get the 65. I think he
also
can only miss 10 the rest of the year.
That's an interesting combo. Yeah.
wow, that's it. He's already down to 10.
I think so. I think I saw that.
Yeah, but you see that rule, they put it in there, like you can't win an award. How many people that have won an award over the last 10 years played less than 65? Like
That's true. That's true.
Like it's
it was more to incentivize more people to not sit. Than
right, absolutely. Because like my
point.
friend, we were in a debate. We were like drinking, having a debate, and they were like, "See, like this, talk about the rule." And we sat there and looked, and like none of them played less than 65. It was like every single MVP played more than 65 games anyway. So
Right.
Last year he played 66, so he's right there. And does that include? Is it all NBA or is it just awards? I can't remember the 65.
I think
limit.
it's just all awards.
Yeah, it's all of it.
Yeah.
But it's all NBA too, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good question.
That's
yeah,
the
I think
biggest.
so.
That's the biggest
Right.
thing is less awards, more so
Yeah.
all NBA.
And it's
I would
positionless.
guess. Yeah.
Anyway, Poll is running for Magic Kings. I live bet Hornets money line last night in the second quarter at plus 550 and hit. And I even said, I sent in the Discord and I said, for fun. That was the caption. And then at the end I flexed, like, see? No, I didn't flex. I didn't flex.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
No,
Like,
but it was fun as hell, wasn't it?
It was
I was
fun.
sitting there being like, why didn't I just get a ticket for the hell of it?
Yeah, that's the caption I put. For fun. I should have said mega nuke lock.
Yeah, there you go. Well,
Lock.
yeah.
So yeah, I did hit on the Hornets money line last night. To be honest, my overall consensus with both these teams is kind of similar. I think they're good basketball teams, but I don't really know what's going on right now with these teams. Neither of them are playing their best. I'll just go first because my analysis isn't really in depth here. I'm going to put Kings minus 4.5 on the screen for my bet, but this is probably a pass for me. I haven't bet this yet. And unless one of these guys makes an extremely compelling point for one side that dissuades me, this is probably not going to be I'm probably not going to bet this one. But this is the way I would go. Kings in a bounce back because the Magic also, I feel like the Kings struggling is getting more press. Like everyone's talking about the Kings struggling. Magic are also struggling. They also don't look great recently. So this is the way I'd lean, but I haven't bet it. Josh?
You have a bet for this, right?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am on the. I don't. This isn't my official play. I am on the. I would be on the Kings with you. Not that this is super convincing, but it's really just a flip-flop method. They lost to the Hornets last night. Everyone's going to be like, "Oh, the Kings stink. I'm going to fade them." Even though the Magic lost, at least not that the Warriors are great this year, but they're still the Warriors, and the public is going to think, "Oh, it's the Warriors." If that makes sense. So that would be my logic there. It's not my official play. I don't actually have that on it. My official play, and this is another kind of dart throw, unit size responsibly. De'Aaron Fox, 35 plus points. Kind of goes into the logic of he played well yesterday, but they still lost to the Hornets. And as good as the Magic defense is, one area, and I think Prop Beaver, I saw him post this on Twitter maybe a week ago or so. One area in which they have struggled is giving up points to lead guards, high usage lead guards. Yeah. They only allow the 5th fewest points per game overall, but they allow the 6th most specifically to point guards over the past month. They allowed 30 points to Jordan Poole, which is basically giving 50 points to a normal good NBA player. D'Anthony Melton scored 22 on an over-under of 12.5. In the same game, Jordan Poole scored 30. Tyus Jones got 22 on an over-under of 13.5. Going back a little bit further, Halliburton, who I mentioned isn't scoring as much, he put up 29 on an over-under of 24.5. So for a dart throw, plus 220 odds on Fox, getting the 35 plus points I thought was worth it. But again, this is more so a lean than me saying that I'd put a full unit. I think I put a quarter unit on this one.
Yo, see another person in the comments, Pistons money line bang. Dude, this Shipley shit is spreading like COVID. It's spreading like an illness.
Here's the thing. If you do that literally more than once, you are not allowed to come back and be like, told you. You can't say shit.
That's a good point.
More than once, you're just throwing darts until it happens. And every time it happens, we're not crushing you because it's the Pistons.
Right. And dude, this Pistons money line crowd, they are like their own, they speak their own language out there, the Pistons money line crowd.
It's
wild.
the capper that only posts plus 10,000 parlays and just ignores all the ones that loses, and he hits one a year and markets
But
the shit
it
out of
gets
that.
1,800 likes.
Totally.
Yeah,
Totally.
that's true.
And dude, like, here's the thing: some people are doing. I'm going to go on a rant. I'll just finish it with: some people are going to play these long shots, but they've bankrolled themselves to lose 19 times in a row before they win the 20th time and hit their 25-1 or 50-1 after 40 times. Like, they've bankrolled themselves probably a lot differently, or they're lying. But like,
Yeah.
moving past it real quick,
Probably
in
the
this
latter.
one, like, I knew some sharp people who hit the Kings last night before the Hornets game started at -5.5. Looking ahead to a tired Magic team playing tough back-to-backs when the Kings were supposed to be able to rest De'Aaron Fox with 10 minutes left in the third quarter, right? So that's not the case anymore, and I would still prefer the Kings more than anything. But I'm a full stay away, and I'm actually going to ride with what you're talking about there, Modai, because that was what I was on last night. I played Steph under his rebounds and assists. And I played combined because he got 6 assists, but like the combined under hit, and then the points I hit a little bit of a ladder with him for that same reason, which is the Magic are good at defense literally everywhere on the floor except for, do you have a good shooting point guard, and specifically like shooting off the dribble point guard? And De'Aaron Fox is actually terrible shooting for like catch and shoot. I was like, for how good of a player he is, he's really bad at catch and shoot, and that's not what they give up, right? Like, you're gonna have to like get around the screen and get yourself a bit open like Steph did, and I would argue Steph wasn't even open on most of those threes that he made. So De'Aaron's gonna get to the line a ton as well. He's gonna get fouled the way that there was a ton of fouls in last night's game. There's gonna be more fouls in the Magic fouled like the 7th highest rate in the league. De'Aaron Fox loves getting the line this year. It's been a big part of his game, which is awesome. Plus, we know the step back and stuff is working for him. So after like losing that game last night, and yeah, Domas with 11 assists, I think De'Aaron a little ladder for him in his points is another good play.
All right, so it looks like we're all wow. Actually, the community Magic won that poll. I would not have guessed that. So more of you are taking Orlando. So 44% of you said you would take Orlando plus 4.5. 37% of the Kings. Surprised by that. A lot of Magic love in the community.
My guess is people are still mad at the Kings because they put them in the money line in their parlay.
Yeah,
exactly it.
They're betting out of anger, like fuck these guys.
Yeah,
That's why I like the Kings tonight. People are just mad at them.
right. Yeah, this is a good buy low. It's so true.
All right, Heat plus 5.5, Lakers minus 5.5, over 228.5. Last game under 228.5. All right. So I'll go first. Now, I'm openly admitting here that I'm just doing a bit of Anyone who's in like a betting group chat knows that like you don't want to be the only guy in the chat that doesn't have action on that last game at 10 p.m. Because like at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, 8 p.m., everyone's watching different shit. Some people are watching Iowa, Wisconsin. Some people are, but when like 11 o'clock hits, everything's over. There's one game left on, and like you hate to be the only guy that doesn't have action on it. So it always happens in baseball season. I'll always play one of those Mariners or Padres games. Like I'll always play and make sure I have some action left at 11. I know that's an insane.
Mariners unders were fucking cash, baby.
Right. Like there's just like I never want to be the only guy that doesn't have action on the late window. And this would be, there's only 2 10 p.m. games tonight. Obviously I said Kings are past, probably not going to bet that. I will bet the Lakers. Don't absolutely love it. All right, here's my angle. Hear me out. I want you guys to hear me out here. So, Lakers obviously have not been playing well since the in-season tournament. They're just 2-7 in their last 9. But a couple things here. Number one, let's look at their schedule. I mean, it's a little bit grueling here. At Minnesota twice. At Minnesota, at Oklahoma City, at New Orleans, Boston. I mean, there's a couple tough losses in there to the Knicks. They also lost on the road to Chicago. That's a bad loss. So they take a couple losses, but as a whole, they've had a crazy stretch of schedule since the in-season tournament. And also, since the tournament, they played 11 games, just 3 of them at home. If you remember when the Lakers were playing well, they were playing very well at home. They've only played 3 home games since the in-season tournament. They're 11-4 at home this year. We know the Lakers, let me summarize that. We know the Lakers were playing very well at home and were a bet-on team at home before the in-season tournament. What have we seen to take us off that take? Because they've only played 3 home games. One was against Boston. They beat the shit out of the Hornets, and then one bad loss to the Knicks. So basically, are we one bad loss is going to take us off of the fact that the Lakers have played really well at home? I think the recent schedule and the fact that they've been on the road a ton makes it a real nice buy low spot for the Lakers. Look, you're always going to get a Lakers tax because everyone always bets on the Lakers. So I don't love it. Like I said, my main reasoning for betting this is I want to have some action in the late window. So that just start you off with a little bit of hesitation. But I do think the Lakers are on the right side. I truly do. Heat are playing without Jimmy Butler, but Spoelstra's so goddamn good that they can just like take their 5 starters out and put just 5 rotation players in and still be competitive. But yeah, I'm on the Lakers.
100%. Do you agree with him, Modai, before I say anything else?
I actually disagree. I sprinkled on the Miami money line, so I was
gonna let you go on, just continue the Lakers rant if you were on the same page before I diverted us to the Heat. But you could definitely have the floor for the Heat first, and you could definitely put the Heat under me as well.
Oh,
yeah,
S-Dot is in the comments. If you don't know who that is, he's our resident diehard Heat fan, annoying as hell. I'm sure he's upset with me right now.
He's throwing the culture at us.
yeah.
Go ahead, Modai.
Did he leave Game 6 early too with the rest of the Heat?
No, dude, I almost had to block him on Twitter when the Heat knocked the Knicks out. Like it was close.
Yeah, I get it. I did sprinkle Heat money line, another small play. I got it at 215 earlier today. It's now best offered at 195. I probably wouldn't touch it below the plus 200 number personally. My official play is Anthony Davis under 29.5 points. It's minus 105 at DraftKings. You can also get under 28.5 at plus 105, which that's at ESPN Bet. I don't hate either. AD's been good this year. I just never, even though he's been playing really well, I'm never going to trust him as a consistent scorer, even though that's basically what he's been doing. Even though the Lakers have been struggling, he has been scoring a lot more since the in-season tournament. But the Heat, it's a tough matchup, and Bam really plays well against Anthony Davis. You take away the bubble and the outlier shooting, Bam is the type of matchup that AD struggles against because Bam, Embiid's so big that just from height alone, and Embiid has a way bigger bag than Anthony Davis. That's a type of center that Bam struggles against, not Anthony Davis. The Heat allow the fewest points per game to the centers on the year. They average 18.3 points per game allowed to centers. That's the lowest. The second lowest allows 20 points per game. That's a 1.7 gap between them and the second lowest. That's the same gap. 1.7 points is the same as between the second lowest and the 10th lowest. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing to follow. Long story short, they're really good at guarding centers. These two teams played in November, and AD only scored 9 points. I'm not going to predict he scores fewer than double digit, but 29.5 is a high number. I'm never really going to trust his scoring. And with the matchup specifically, I like fading him.
Josh, you sound like you're leaning the Miami way as well.
Well, you made a convincing argument. I'm not going to lie to you. You kind of came at us with the they're good at home.
And nothing's taking us off that.
Yeah. And I wouldn't call the Knicks loss bad. It was a good spot for the Knicks, to be honest. I was far away from that game. I didn't touch it, but for this one, I am though on the Heat. Like I knew before this spread came out, really like yesterday evening ish into the night. Well, on the West Coast, but I was like, oh, this is gonna probably be Lakers minus 4.5, Lakers minus 4, something like that. And when it came out at 6, I was like, great. Oh, okay, cool. I love when that projection works out for me in a big enough gap that I'm willing to bet it. So where I'm coming from is I believe, first of all, I believe in Jaime Jaquez Jr., the real Triple J, as I think we all now believe in him. And if Chet Holmgren wasn't a player in the NBA, he would be talked about a lot more consistently as potential rookie of the year for sure. Obviously, Wemby also quashes his part of the conversation. But more importantly for this bet, everything that you're talking about for under for AD is put that as my logic for this defense, right? And this defense travels everywhere. I do wish Caleb Martin was playing. I'd feel so good about this bet if he was, because he's such a helpful defender with the amount of wings that they have. But for the Lakers, man, the reason I'm just you know what trumps everything for me? A lack of Gabe Vincent and more importantly, a lack of Rui Hachimura. And at least D'Lo's out as well, because that means that Gabe Vincent's absence isn't going to screw them even more, and that means you'll probably see Austin Reeves in the starting lineup where he should be if he's going to be if they're going to have that lineup. They need another scorer and ball handler alongside LeBron, and I don't want it to be D'Lo basically, and I also don't want it to be Cam Reddish. So you're going to see more Austin Reeves in there. But either way, for this bet, like I said, I wish that Caleb Martin was in there for that reason, because of the wings that you're going to see a bit more of with Austin Reeves out there. But I still think the Heat, regardless of Jimmy Butler or not in the regular season, with Kyle Lowry back as well, he missed a few games. And yeah, I'm good with the Heat in this one.
Someone just said
I love the
Caleb Martin's on the Hornets now. That's his brother Cody Martin.
It's a different Martin.
There's two of them.
I love the fact that the Lakers came out and said that they also liked Jaime Jaquez Jr. in the draft. It's really easy to say that after the fact. It's one of my favorite things. Yeah, I know. It's like the teams that come out and say we loved Russell Wilson in the draft. He fell to the third round. It's my favorite thing that teams do is after the draft talk about players that they liked
that they didn't. They could have drafted.
Right.
Exactly, but they didn't. Yeah,
but they didn't. But one time in a meeting, a coach was like, "Well, what about this guy?" And they were like, "Yeah, he's good." And they moved on.
We loved him.
Yeah, I watched him in the Final Four. He's a good player.
Yeah, that's all they said. That was the
yeah.
All right, let's move on to the community parlay. And I've decided that we're going to go back to the way we were doing it during baseball, which is moneyline parlay, because somehow those were hitting. We were hitting like 2-3 a week during baseball season. So I'm just going to type up the first. If you don't know what the community parlay is, I'm sure most of you do by now. But if you don't, we vote on our favorite money lines, 4 of them, and then we all bet it together and usually lose together. It's usually how it goes down. So there's the first one. First poll for the first leg of the community parlay: Bucks, Moneyline, Cavs, Thunder, or Grizzlies. What's your favorite leg to put in this community parlay? We'll see who wins this one.
Going to be the Cavs, right?
You would think with the, I don't know. People love the Oklahoma City.
I was just, yeah.
I don't think people even take the odds into consideration in these community parlays, man. Like, people are nuts. Yeah, so make sure you follow these two guys. Their Twitter's right here on the screen here. JL Boogie underneath for Josh. His name on Twitter, it'll come up. Land your bets. That's him. Yeah. But his handle is JL Boogie.
Yep.
And Jedi Modai. His name's Matt Modai, but that's his Twitter handle right underneath there. You know what? I'll tweet out and tag both of them. So if you follow me, you'll see both their names. So it looks like Bucks Moneyline is the winner. So first leg of community parlay is the Bucks money line. I don't hate that one. I was trying to get to the Bucks. The only thing that took me off was the fact that what's the name? The Pacers just seem to own them. Like, they keep beating them.
I know.
So next leg of the community parlay is gonna be. Let's see, where'd we leave off here? Okay, so Grizzlies they already had. So they took T-Wolves, definitely. T-Wolves money line minus 245. Nets Rockets. They definitely took the Rockets. That was pretty decisively. Bulls Knicks. They took the Knicks. And Blazers Mavericks. They took the Mavericks. Minus 650. The Mavericks money line. That's crazy. Like, in what world does that have any value at minus 650? Watch, they'll vote for it though.
That's my lock of the day. Mavs money line.
Hitting 81% on the year.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
All right, let's see. No, it is the Mavs money line is not winning. People are shying away from that minus 650 price tag, as you should, by the way.
Yeah.
Wow, look at this. The one with the lowest odds winning. Looks like Rockets is going to win. I'm going to give another 5 seconds. Yeah, we got
sharp audience you got there.
Well, yeah, we got the sharpest. We got the sharpest crowd on the tube, man.
I'm wondering if, like, some of this, like, hate for the Nets and love for the Blazers that we've given on the show a couple episodes in a row is, like, impacting people.
Well, I'm sure that the people watching, a large majority of them watch my channel regularly, so a lot of them would tend to agree with what I say. That's probably why they watch, because like,
or they hate watch you.
Yeah, there's a lot of them too, man.
Oh yeah, I have a guy that watches every video in full and comments hating every single pick.
Oh my god!
And I comment, thanks for watching and commenting.
Thanks for watching, brother.
You're helping the algorithm very much,
dude. And then, like, it's like some people will comment about how much I suck, and you click, and it's like 81 comments on your channel, and you scroll back, dating back to 2021. Like, dude, you've been watching me for 2 years, and you hate me? Yeah. What is wrong with you? Stop watching.
You're not mad at me. You're mad at yourself.
Yeah, like, just stop watching. It's fine. It's no big deal.
Oh, that's amazing.
People are nuts on here, man.
Yeah.
All right. Second is Rockets money line. Let's keep it rolling. We got a nice sharp one here.
Good stuff, people. That scares me. I'm not gonna lie. The 2 points that it moves is like someone's moving that line on us.
I know.
I don't know how smart they are though.
Well, we'll see. We'll find out.
People trying to move it so they can bet the Rockets.
Right. I was thinking that because it got under 4.5, and so many sharps think 5 is. I mean, they feel 5 is such a key number in basketball. That I was like, I wonder if that is what's happening.
Well, I think it was Brad Powers. I don't know if you guys know who that is. He's big in college football. And I was listening to something with him on, and he made a good point. He was like, never in sports betting have influencers have so much influence. He even made it about himself, which I liked. He was like, myself included. He's like, I'll give out a pick in the beginning of the week, and it moves the line 2.5 points. And it's like, hey, man, like I do this for a living, but I shouldn't have that much power.
And maybe he's helping move the line because sharp people trust him. And
right. Yeah. No. Well, that's, of course, it's not his bet,
right.
But it's his influence. And it's a good point where it's like never before have like the people had this much power where I have 68,000 subscribers. If I go on a Monday night and give an NFL line out, not that I have that kind of power, but like it's a lot of people, a lot of eyes.
You'd be surprised at how much power you do have though, because do you guys know about the recent thing that went down with DK DFS?
Oh.
I was all about it. Long story short, Mikal Bridges has like an Ironman streak, right? And so he's been playing in a bunch of games in a row.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
And so what happened was the Nets run a back-to-back. On the second night of the back-to-back, they sat all of the starters except for Mikal. And this dude on Twitter was like, yo, I know what's going on here. Mikal is going to play for like maybe a quarter because he did this last year where he was trying to keep his Ironman streak going. So even though it was the second night of a back-to-back and everybody's sitting, he plays. And he only played 12 minutes. And his lines were still at 23.5 points.
Right.
So when this dude tweeted it out, he got murdered online by people who were pissed because they wanted to make more money off it. And whether they had that angle yet or not, like they just probably lost 6 figures worth of money.
I don't get it. How did his tweet prevent them from making money on it though?
It was within 20, it was easily within 20, probably closer to like 12 minutes of him tweeting that Mikal's lines were taken down on like every book. And his tweet got a lot of pub. It wasn't just his tweet, but his tweet got repurposed. He kept putting it in different places.
Right, but that line was going to take it down immediately, whether he tweeted it or not. Maybe his tweet expedited a bit, but at the same time, with an opportunity like that, you can't blame the guy who tweeted it out. Like, you got to be fast, or you're going to miss that.
The books were going to catch on.
Of course. Yeah. Like, even if he didn't tweet out, it's not like that was going to go unnoticed. I don't know.
Agreed, man. I had him on my show, on my channel, and have an interview with him talking about it because I wanted to know what his experience was. And the last thing I'll say that was really interesting, dude, is that he learned, because I have a couple of pro sports bettors that are putting down really big money as well that, I talk to consistently, and like a couple of them reached out to him because they were level-headed about it, and they were like, yo, you have really solid insight. I would like to keep working with you, and if you would like to make more money than however much you got down on it last time, I can help you do that. So you come to me, we get ours, and however much it moves, we can at least then you can go give it to your Patreon. Like that was part of the takeaway for him too,
Right. So anyway, by the way, our community parlay is now complete. The last leg is Thunder. So let me, any of you guys have a sports book open that can plug in a parlay and give me the odds?
Yeah, I can do that real quick. So what do we have? Bucks, Rockets, Clippers.
Bucks, Rockets, Clippers, Thunder. That actually isn't going to be terrible.
Thunder. Bucks.
We got
Rockets.
The Thunder in there.
I know. Even though this is a Hawks program. Not
on this side.
And the odds are?
And give me 1 second. It's loading. Looks like it's best offered on... Bet Rivers, I hate to give him publicity because they are the worst with limits at plus 648.
So we'll see 640.
Yeah, 643 on ESPN Bet.
There you go. Community parlay. Bucks money line, Rockets money line, Clippers money line, Thunder money line plus 640. Thanks as always for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. Actually, these guys, I'll be back tomorrow. But we're doing Toast is coming on, Prop Beaver's coming on. We're doing college basketball show, and then we're going to do there's only 2 games on tomorrow night for those you don't know. So we're going to do the NBA at the end, but me and Toast are going to do a college basketball show, and then we're going to bring Prop Beaver on at the end to do the NBA games. So we're going to do something like that. So same time, tomorrow, 4 p.m. Hopefully by the time we're having that conversation, we all have more money in our accounts. Let's have a great night. Remember to bet responsibly, and thank you guys both for joining. Let's have a good one.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.